from 16 onwards. And I would hear about the older players and they're doing certain stuff. But at 12, I was thinking, wow. And maybe that has something to do with that when I was coming up, if I was in the pro game at 12, I would only train twice a week and play on the weekend. Whereas they're training a lot more. So in a way, they are kind of full-time. Okay, I go to clubs around the country presenting a program called The Grey Area, which covers the differences between banter and bullying. No matter the league, age group, or part of the country, when I ask people if they've ever been angry, upset, or sad, angry, upset, sad, or if their performance has been negatively affected as a result of banter, the response is always the same. I'm cool, or we're cool. And it's like these little ad-libs. I'm cool, yeah, we're cool, I'm cool, I'm cool. Because banter is a playful way of teasing, it is often difficult to see when it crosses the line and offends someone. While some topics are seen as obvious no-go areas, the only person who can truly judge whether the banter is offensive or not is the person it's being directed at. Why don't the ones that hate it say anything? Often it's because once a player does build up the courage to talk about how he is negatively affected by banter, his teammates laugh at him. No wonder people stay silent. They're going to be laughed at if they say something and laughed at if they don't. It's very common that when a player shares in a session that they have been negatively affected by banter happening in the change room, it is the first time the person's teammates have had any idea about how they truly feel about it. He was 12. It was under 13s team, Premier League team up north. And when I asked the questions about if banter affects them, you know, it was like, oh, no, we're good. We used to have a problem. They almost like they want to give me something. So I said, yeah, we used to have a problem. And then when I said to put your hand up, three people put their hand up. And when I signalled for one of the guys who put their hand up to talk, he just burst out crying. So, and the room changed. Dead silent. This was a group, very jokey, very lively. You could hear a pin drop. So I go in to explain that in a bit more detail, but not too much, obviously protecting the young person and not saying the club. Marcus Gale shares his experiences growing up at Wimbledon, the Crazy Gang. Owen Price shares his experiences at Tottenham Hotspur, playing under coaches. We didn't use the coaches' names, but going into, so he got bought from Charlton, and he was in a position of where his coach's son played, and how that affected him, because his coaches would talk about him negatively in front of other players, so it would get back to him. So managing that. Oh, and there's a heading called Problems, Pressure and Performance Anxiety. Now, I spoke to Dutch international Bart Ramselaar. So at the time, Bart was at PSV Eindhoven. So they had bought him from FC Utrecht. And he spoke about still accessing the coach that was there that really helped him. And he talks about just like the role of family. Now, they're all interesting, but some parts that came up and that were quite contrasting was when I caught up with Gail Clichy. Gail spoke a lot about Arsenal and about Bergkamp and Vieira and their mindset and how they helped him to manage the pressures of playing at the top level and their attitude to being there. I'm not going to give you that because you have to read that bit in the book. You have to get that. But also how he takes up yoga nidra, which is a form of meditation. Because when we talk about mental health, we get caught up in illness to the stage where people say, oh, that person's got mental health. And I'm like, yeah, we all have. But yeah, so he talks about playing against Barcelona. You know, that was, I think, the first match after he started his yoga, and how his performances they just spiked. So we look at the wellness aspect. And we also have Fabian Delph speaking about his experiences, and Danny Guthrie. And again, Danny Guthrie's part was linked to injury, but it was really powerful, talking about him not trusting his body. And it's something that I did a piece with Sky Sports on this the other day, and it's really important that we don't speak about that, actually. So under the heading Injured Heart, Injured Mind is Coutinho, when he was at Liverpool and he was trying to move to Barcelona. And it came up that he was injured. And I'll be honest, probably like most of you, I was thinking, oh, he's give it that one. He just don't want to play, get himself injured before he can move. but there was an interview with one of his friends who's, and I explained it in finer detail in here, but a friend who's a physio at one of the pro clubs in Brazil, and what he was basically saying was that his back injury was caused due to the stress of what he was going through at the time. So sometimes we look at mental health as separate from, you know, how it affects our performances, and this kind of bleeds into state in a way, that his mental condition actually brought on an injury in his body. And I think that could be mental health, actually. Yep. Okay. Bada bing, bada boom.